Now let's move forward. What we'll do next is that we skip this exercise because we realize that we need to learn something else in order to meaningfully complete these 3 exercises. So let's move forward. Next topic which we are going to cover is repeating operations, basically cycles. This is the area where computers definitely have superior power over the human beings, because if you're being asked to do some repetitive tasks, like for example run smoke test manually, you will quit the company after a while, okay? At least you can try to talk to your manager saying, you know what, this is too boring, this is too irritating, I cannot stand it. And I talked to such person a couple of days ago, okay? Said, I'm tired of it, okay? I like to get life. So we need to delegate these tasks to the machine, okay? And the machines are pretty good in that. They don't ask for pay raise, they don't complain about weather, stomach ache, and so on. Okay, they simply go and repeat the tasks, and these operations, actually repeating the tasks, are called cycle or loops. Okay, talking from programmatic point of view, loops, and JavaScript supports loops. Okay, so we are going to write our first loops and see how it works. So what you need to do, you need to create this script, and this script contains loops, and this is called for loops because we have this keyword for here. And for loop essentially contains 2 parts. This is the controlling part, header part, and this is the body of the loop, which is encapsulated in the figural bracket. So the body of the loop will tell you what is going to be repeated, what operations are going to be repeated. Okay, header of the loop will tell you conditions, when it starts, when it ends. Because if loop cannot be stopped at some moment of time, you are going to have so-called case of eternal loop. So eternal loop cannot run eternally, but it's called eternal because it will run until it will consume all your browser resources. Your browser will freeze, or if you have running on older machines, your computer will freeze. Okay, so you can repeat that. I mean, this scenario at home, not here. Okay. Essentially, what happens here is this is the starting condition. Variable I equals 0. This is the ending condition when I becomes equal or less to 5. And then we have plus plus I plus plus, what will happen within the loop. Okay, so cycle loop. And here you to print that. You say print current value of the iterator and then the new line. So let's go and execute that and see what happens. With the actions, what we're going to do within the loop, okay? As soon as you define this, then creating the loop is very easy. Basically, you have to create this header, and then you have to provide angle brackets. And then this loop will be repeated. If you like to run this statement, say 200 times or 2 million times, no problem. You basically change the end condition, sending to 5,000, it will be run 5,001 times, okay? So straightforward. So we can do this to generate multiple zips. So that's what we'll cover that part. And here's the code for generating multiple zips. Okay. So what you need to do, definitely you need to create a random number and multiply the random number by 100,000. Okay. And in that case, these random zips will be created for you. Okay. So let's do that. This is slide 60. Okay. I'm going to do that together with you. So let's do that. That's 60. Okay. This is the code which I need. Okay, this is the code which I have. I need to modify these functions. Say math random. Say write math round RMDM multiply by 100,000, right? We agreed, correct? Mm-hmm. And then let's say document. That's pretty much it. So let's see. Zip to all files. Okay, that's the code. And let's see if it's working or not. So random zip2, okay. Allow block context, say random. And here are zip codes which are generated. And you see some of them, approximately 10% of the cases, the number which are generated is less than, contains less than 5 digits. Okay? So, but nevertheless, this code is good for generating random zips. If you are testing this postal application, this might be a very good code to generate random zips, so you can actually punch into the application and test it. Okay? Or you can copy and paste to the Excel spreadsheet, and then your automated test will read from the Excel spreadsheet. Okay, so what we can do, let's go to the presentation. Okay. Okay, this one. So this code is working. Okay, with modification, it will generate random zips. Any questions about this? No? Oh. We are going to take care of that. Okay, one more step, and we are almost there. Okay, we'll be there. So, in this case, we have a so-called for loop, and for loop is characterized by the fact that we know the starting condition and ending condition. Okay, and then we know how many times it will run. There might be some situations when you don't know how many times you have to run. Okay, let's assume we use this math random to generate number between 0 and 100. Okay, what we need to do, we need to multiply that generated number by 100 and then round it, right? Now let's assume a friend of ours, say of mine, asked me to generate 6 random numbers between 1 and 51. Because he's an active lotto player, he's a gambler, okay? And he honestly believes that JavaScript can generate random numbers, so he will win, okay? So and he asked me to write that. So you realize that if I generate 20 random numbers here, and then multiply these random numbers by 100, and then round it, I may get 6 or 7 numbers which exceed, which will be within this range, but maybe not, okay? If all numbers will be over 51, I need to run this loop more, correct? How many times more? I don't know, okay? So because I cannot tell in advance what the random number will be, right? Let's do that, actually. Let's modify this zip code, so we'll see that. This is my code. So I'm sorry, let's not multiply by 100,000, let's multiply by 100, and let's assume I'm playing Lotto, okay? Lottery, and then I assume that 20 times, generating 20 random numbers will be enough to generate 5 digits between 1 and 51. Okay, let's do that. Let's execute this code. Come on. Okay, so is it enough or not? This is okay. This is okay. This is okay. These are not okay. This is 4. 5. You see, 7 is generated several times, right? So this is not enough. Oh, this is okay, yeah. So essentially 20 times was enough in this case, but it's not guaranteed. Maybe I need to generate 30 times, right? Who knows, correct? So I don't know that. And I don't like to generate extra numbers, and I just like to generate enough times so it will be 6 random numbers, okay? So in this case, the condition here in the loop condition is not, should be redefined. This loop, which we call for loop, should be redefined. Essentially, I'm going to say run these actions as many times until I have 6 random digits, which will be between 1 and 51. That will be my logical condition. And how many times it needs to run, I don't know. Okay, maybe 50 times, maybe 10 times is enough, maybe 50 times is enough, I don't know. Okay, so it will be decided on fly. Okay, that's a so-called case of the while loop. Okay, while loop iterates or actually works until some logical condition is met. In my case, logical condition is until I have 6 lottery numbers at hand. At that moment, that loop might stop. How many times it should iterate from the beginning? It's not known. Okay. In this case, this is the example of while loop. I'm saying in this case the condition is iterate this loop until the value of I is less than 5. Okay. Let's assume this line does not exist here. Okay. In that case, this loop will iterate eternally. Okay, because I'm not incrementing the value of I, so it will go until the resource of the computer is consumed. But within the loop, I increment I by 1 every time. So this loop executes maybe say 5 or 6 times. Okay, so you have printed this line 6 times and then it stops. Okay. So this is example of while loop, and the condition here, logical condition, might be any. Okay, as soon as it's logical condition evaluates to true and false, this will be okay. So what I can do here is I can use this while loop to prepend zeros to the zip codes, right? I'm saying let's generate some number, okay, and that number might be consist of 1 digit, might be consist of 5 digits, but I don't care. I'm telling the computer, to JavaScript, saying, you know what, keep adding zeros at the beginning until you'll get 5 digits. Okay, at that moment I'm fine. Print this number. Make sense? Okay, so let's do that. Let's do this. In this case, I am multiplying again against 100 million. Sorry, 100,000. And I'm not printing this document right. Okay. I'm not printing yet because I need to I need to check how many digits that number contains, right? I'm saying while, and within the while loop, I basically check the length of this round number. I delete this, I don't print it. I'm saying var zip equals math round, like this. Okay. I'm saying while the length of the zip is less than 5. So basically it contains less than 5 characters. What I need to do, I simply say need to add zeros. In this case I'm saying zip equals 0 plus zip. Okay. And after that, I'm saying document write zip plus yar. So this is the final code, and this should generate me not 20, but I like to generate 2000. Okay, random zips. Let's test this guy. Nope, it doesn't work for some reason. So let's see why. Okay. Length less than 5. This is correct. I'll zip length. That's correct. Okay, let's do that. Let's do it again. Zip 2. No, it's not working. See, I even got to 34, but it doesn't work. So it means, sorry? Why does it work in my case? Length. Anything else I did here? Zip, zip. Should be working. Why doesn't it work in my case? I don't know. This one? No, it doesn't matter. It should absolutely shouldn't matter. Let's see why it doesn't work in my case. No. So this is not. Sorry?
Maybe it's only adding 0 one time. If it's like 3 numbers, just adding it one time.
It should add more. Why it's not adding it? Length. Let me retype this guy. Okay, 0 plus zip. Let's retype this guy. This is correct. BM. That's correct. Document, right, zip plus BR. Absolutely correct. Run zip HTML. No, something wrong here. Okay, let me say this one. Just it doesn't like that, doesn't like, okay. Yeah, this is working. I explicitly converted to the string. Okay, you see that I generated a bunch of random zips, and some of them are coming with, for example, this one, 00333, which is in this case becoming a valid zip. Okay? So let's have a break. Okay, and then we'll do the next exercise. How to generate random zip, correct? So generating social security number should be a piece of cake. After that, yeah, slightly more complicated, but nevertheless, principle is the same. And keep in mind that the social security number can also start with the leading zeros. Okay, it is possible. Okay, so let's try to do it. Now, very useful because this situation when you need to generate random data is very common. Okay, when you test that, especially in automated testing, it's very, very useful. You are not going to sit in front of the machine and punch manually. If you create a script to test your, for example, your postal code, then you have to do it automatically. And such application exists, so there is a probability you will test them. For example, application which calculates local taxes based on a postal code. Okay, you punch the zip code and it will give you state tax, local tax, city tax, whatever, rental tax, different kind of taxes. Okay, you should be able to test it. Works? Okay, so if I can do it once, I can do it 200 times. Okay, so in this case, first digits is 3 digits, right? Beginning of Social Security is 3 digits. That's why I have to multiply by 1,000. Okay. Now there is a slight chance that the number 0 and number 1 will be generated, but we have to take care of that situation. Again, in the case of zip as well. But let's assume that it's never happened. Okay, but in reality, you have to take care of that. So in this case, I'm not showing zip. I call it SSN1. Okay, because that's the first part of Social Security number. And then what I need to do, I have to make sure that this SSN has, bless you, has 3 digits. Okay, so and then I'm saying while length is less than 3, we have to prepend with zeros. Okay, this first part is done here, but I have 2 other parts pending. Okay, this is the first part, but 2 parts should be done too. So what I do here is I create another Social Security number, another SSN, random SSN. I call it SSN2. Second digit should be second number should be 2 digits, right? So I multiply by 100, and again I have to round it and do essentially the same. Copy here, and then I have to round it. Round. Oh, wait a sec. Not random. Like this. So, and then I have to round it, wait a sec. Something is, no, this is correct. I have to multiply by 100, okay? And then I have to say SSN2 equals SSN, string SSN2. While it's less than 2, we have to basically add to SSN and then add to SSN2. This is done with the Social Security number, second groups of digits in Social Security. The last one is 4-digit number. Same story. I have to say Social Security 3. I have to say Social Security 3 equals math round. I have to multiply by 10,000, correct? So 3, Social Security 3, while is less than 4, Social Security 3 plus Social Security 3. So finally, I have to say SSN number. Then I have to print this. How I printing? I'm saying SSN1 plus dash. I have to use dash, right? Plus SSN2 plus dash plus SSN3. That's how it should look like. A lot of concatenations, but this code should be working. Yeah, and then finally I have to say plus here. Okay, otherwise it would not work. So let's see how it's working or not. Random zip2. So okay. Something wrong with this guy. Okay, so let's see if I can generate it. I don't need 200 times 20 is okay. Browser is busy. Yes, 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 I'm ready for that. Something is wrong with my code. Let's check it. Function foo from 200 random at random. At random versus not round random 1000. This is correct. Not random, not random.
SSN 2 while SSN 2.
Yeah, this is another variable SSN2. Second part.
Second one.
Oh, this one?
Yeah.
Yeah, this one is bad. This is the, okay, that's correct. SSN3. Okay, definitely problem. Okay, let's see. And the browser is frozen. This is not good. Let's start again. Random 80. Okay. Yeah, this is correct. So essentially, I generated random social security numbers, 20 random social security. If I need to generate 200,000, it's no problem, okay, provided that you have enough memory. And the format is correct. You see that even if I have zeros, it created a correct social security number, okay? Make sense? But there is a glitch here. Not a glitch, actually bad coding. You see that this part, making sure that it's prepended with 0, is repeating. This part is repeating. This part is repeating. This is not good. Okay? Anytime you see repetition in a code, it means that the code is not good. No exceptions. Okay? So I have to modularize that. I have to actually remove the repetitions. How do I do that? This code, this portion of the code is basically repeating 3 times. Sorry? I have to create a function which will generate me the number. Okay? So let's do this function. Yes. So I have to create another function, not foo, but let's say function partial number portion, say. Okay, portional number, because I'm generated a fractional one. And what I have to do here, I have to create this code here, right? I put this code in this function, but the question is that these values, 100 and 2, whatever, is kind of a hard-coded there, right? What if I need to generate 5-digit number, 2-digit number? I have to make this function flexible. So I'm saying is size. I'm passing a parameter size. In this case, size will tell me how many digits I need. This 100, remember here, there is a link between these 2 and 100. If I need to generate 2-digit number, I have to multiply 100. If I need to generate 3-digit number, I have to multiply by 1,000. Essentially, that will be 10 to the power of size. Correct? So in that case, I'm flexible. So in this case, I have to say less than size. Okay? And after that, I have to say return. You don't need to follow this. If you prefer the previous version, that's okay. But this function, which is called number, which I use this subfunction, will simplify our code drastically. So what happens here in this case, instead of generating this one, whatever, I can simply say social security number 1 equals 2, actually 3, the first one, right? So I need to, I can easily eliminate this, and I can easily eliminate this. So my code will look like this. Equals three, and I eliminate this code. definitely have to say var. And you see that my code is actually getting much better. So as soon as I have some function which will generate me integer containing this number of digits, I'm fine. Okay? So then I'd eliminate this one. You see that my function foo becomes very concise. It's here. I don't care how these numbers are generated. As soon as I have a function which will do that, my code becomes very simple. This happens because I simplified my code. Okay, I just eliminate the duplication, replications, and then code becomes very simple. Okay. Now, what we do to do here is that I created this function number portion, right? It's probably not the best name, but nevertheless, we have to test it. We have to make sure that it's working. And if we test it, we do unit testing, make sure that this function number portion is working, you can forget about it. As soon as you remember there is something there which will generate any number of digits. Number consists of a given number of digits. And this function which does that. That's it. How it works, we can forget about that. As soon as it works, we can simplify our code so it will look like this. Okay? And in reality, you have to do this way because anytime you hit the repetition of the code, simplify it. It's not guaranteed that when you start writing the code, you will get the best code. Okay? Maybe you have some repetition somewhere. That's why you have to analyze your written code. As soon as you reanalyze and saying, you know, these are repetitions, bam, you need to refactor it. Okay? So this I'm talking about this code. I'm talking about this the details because you cannot avoid that. It's not because I like to scare you. Okay? So Halloween is past, but you know, it's like David is going to scare you with the code. Okay? Not the case. You'll face this. Okay? You go to the company, you have to make automation. Okay? You'll hit this, the same problem. You have to make the code concise and eliminating repetitions, because if you have repetitions on the code, it means that you are going to lose time when you are going to maintain that code. And the code sooner or later will be maintained, especially in automation business. Okay? So try to eliminate that, because if you eliminate that, and if, for example, you need to refactor this function number portion, for example, you are not happy how it works, maybe for next day you decide to generate fractional numbers, right? Not integers, but fractional. You definitely have to modify this number portion. But you have to modify in one place. If you have repetitions in your code, you have to go and modify in many instances. That's not good, okay? So that's dangerous. Anyway.
Can we see the number portion part?
Sure. Number portion part, let me see. It's this code. Var, it's probably not a good name, but nevertheless, it's there's a center. Size, yeah, should work. This is bless you. This is exponential, 10 to the power of size. Okay. So again, this is untested code. Okay, I'll not say I will not bet, you know, my head that is working. You have to test it. Yeah, you have to test it. Unless it's not, unless it's tested, you cannot say it's good or not. Okay, that's why I'm just throwing this code, saying that this should work, but I don't give you any kind of guarantees. Okay. I haven't tested it. You confirm that. And this function, number portion, for example, is located again within the script tag. Because this portion is JavaScript, you can have any number of functions here defined. You can, if you like to define 50 functions, then no problem. Okay? So you can call them one from each other, within each other, that's okay. No problem. So as soon as we going towards the perfection, I like to make sure that this number is not 1 and not 0 here, right? Remember, I talked about that, but we never implemented that. So I'm going to do that. I'm using the the tertiary operator, I'm saying equals 1. In a case if it equals to 1, I like to say it's equal to 0.5. Okay. Otherwise, it's RNDM. Okay. Or in the case of 0, let's take care of that situation as well. Okay. In the case if it's 1 or 0, I assign its value to 0.5. Just in these two cases. Otherwise, I'll just it's the same value. The value remains the same. So in this case, this line of code, which is highlighted, is taking care of these two extreme conditions. In the case of it's 1 or its case of 0. So let's see if I instead of calling foo, I call it number portion, right? Correct? And then in number portion, I like to print this SSN2 document, right? Let's say this is for debugging purposes, and I'm also indicate that I'm saying DBG, which stands for debugging, so I can remove that later on. Okay, I'll just put this flag. Let's save this guy, and let's try it. Yes, allow this context. Does not work. Okay, this is working. Let's see. Let's modify this. Let's see what's wrong with this code. Okay, this one is working, and let's print this. Oh. Let's debug like one by one, okay? Document, maybe I made some stupid mistake, I cannot figure it out. So let's comment this everything. Okay? So I expect that this one should be at least be printed, okay, if this line is correct. So let's do that. This is correct, so it is working, okay? So far so good. So let's move forward. And I'm saying var SSN2 equals marked round RNDM multiplied by 10 size. Okay, that's good. So I'm going to say, let's print this SSN2, right? Print SSN2. Let's assume that this code is, if this code is not working, we're not going to get anything. Okay, let's see that. Yes, allow this one. This is not working. Okay, so what happens is that this might be exponential in JavaScript. Let me see if I remember it's correct. Might be problem in syntax. Say JavaScript exponential function. Okay. Exponential method. Okay, let's see. What's this? To exponential. Okay. Notation. No, this is not it. This is exponential notation. It's power 2. Okay, you drive. So it means that I working too hard with other languages today. Okay, so that will be 10 multiply 10 power 2. See, no. It's power 2. I think will be 10, and then size like this. Correct? Like this? Yeah, it might be a syntax problem. That's what I'm saying. So JavaScript exponent operator. This. Okay, Math function. Okay, math functions, round exponent. Let's see. PO. Okay, PO. Okay, math PO. Okay, that's it. So yeah, that will be it. It will be math. That's it. Okay. So let's test this guy. Okay, so it means that I made a mistake. It happens. So allow. Still doesn't work. Let's see what happens here.
Also, you have asterisk line.
Sorry?
Slash. After return,
There are
Oh, but oh yeah, that's. Wait a second. I commented this guy. Oh, okay. I didn't. Okay. So yeah, I didn't comment that. Okay, let's see. Let's try this guy. We have to hammer it down, not a number. So what it means that I messed something.
so we need maybe size to the power.
Okay. See. Undefined. So that's not good. Size. Yes. Yeah, we didn't call this function. That's correct because we called it differently. Number portion 3. Yeah, that's what it is. I have to call it the number, right? Not just simple. Yeah, that's what it is. That's correct. So I say yes. Yeah, that's 3. But that's so far so good. It printed. Okay. So I'm not saying SAS, we say SSN2. Let's see if it generates correctly the number. Okay. One step at a time. 360, which is correct. Okay. In this case, it's working. So I can uncomment this one and uncomment this one. So I hope it will work. In this case, I'm using the previous function, which is called not function, but I'm called foo. 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 Okay, let's see if it's working or not. Yes. Yes. Yeah, this print is because it's. I remember the debugging messages. Remember? Yeah. So I'm going to modify the code. This is debugging message. I have to comment this line. Okay, I don't need this. And then if I run the script again, you see that again, somewhere else, not only that place. This one, I don't need this line. Okay, so I don't need this line. This is correct. Let's see. Yeah, this is correct. So it's actually, we're able to generate the same social security numbers, but in our case, the code is much simpler. As soon as I tested this code, this function number portion is working, I may forget about that. Okay, so I know that I have some function which will generate me random length, random numbers with a given length. Okay, I forget about this. So my code for generating the social security number becomes pretty clear, like this. Now, if I ask you to generate random phone number, it should be no problem here at all. What you need to do is just simply combine 3 portions of it, maybe say 3 digits, 4 digits, and you have random phone number. Okay? So simply writing new function for generating random phone is a piece of cake now. Because you know that this number portion will work. Okay? It will generate any length number as you ask, whatever you ask. And then you can simply say 3, 3, 4, right? That will be random phone number. For example, if I change it to 3, right, and 4, that will be random phone numbers. Correct? Let's test that. This is not social security, but this may look like a phone number. Okay? Is it phone number? Yes, it is. It looks like a phone number. So what we needed to do is just simply change this. Okay? You don't need to modify code extensively, whatever. Just one digit change, and you get. If you need zip, you basically change it to 5, and you don't need to generate these 2 numbers. Correct? Or if you need to generate zip in a format like 5 digits and 4 digits, then you have 5 and 4 here. That's it. You are done. Okay? So code becomes suddenly very simple. Okay? So this is beauty of modularizing that and then putting function into different, putting code into different functions. Okay. Now some people, especially the beginners, they're afraid to split the code into many functions. They say, you know what, it's better to have in one place, I have under control rather than split in different. No, don't be afraid. Okay. If it allows you to simplify the code, split, create 100 different functions, that's perfectly okay. Because you'll never know when you need to do one of or another function. Okay, like this one, for example, number portion. You may have 100 of these small functions which may be very useful, and then if you can combine them in any order you like. Okay, but essentially our code is this one. Okay, this is function foo. Essentially this is the code. It's a very simple one. If you need generate, say, 2000, simply add 2 zeros here, and then you get 2000. The social security number, phone number, zip codes, or whatever, you just name it. Okay. Make sense? Sure. Top? This is the top. Basically, this is the function which is called number portion. It's not a good name, again. You can rename it. But this is the function which generates given length random number, okay, of a given length. What this line does is essentially I'm handling the situation when the random number generated is 1, okay, or in a case 0 or 1, because these two cases, two extreme cases, might happen. Okay, we don't have a guarantee against that, but in that case I'm saying if this happens, then just simply return 0, 5. Arbitrary number. If you are not happy with 0, 5, you can put any number you like. It's not essential. Otherwise, if it's not the case, then it remains the same value. Okay, that's what this line is. Okay, and after that basically you go and do the usual business. Not working? Going down? So down with this number portion. Okay, so this is our code for function foo.
Certain numbers are not being...
it means that something is wrong here or whatever, because this function is working. We tested that. Okay, so it should work.
So the functions are working, but it's generating...
Now what you can do, you can actually don't print this one. You can comment this line and print something which print this SSN2. Okay, and go backwards and try to debug it. Unfortunately, we don't have time to cover the debugger, but yeah, but Chrome has a debugger, Internet Explorer has debugger, and Mozilla has a debugger plugin, so you can actually install and debug it. Okay, for debugging such codes is actually very useful because you can put a breakpoint, run it, and then see what these intermediate values are. Okay. Top. Okay. Scrolling up and down. Okay, let's have a look. Nothing wrong with this, okay? It might be some typo. If you are interested, you can copy it from my machine. But let's move forward. Otherwise, we'll stay here until tomorrow morning. Okay? Which is not definitely our goal. So we covered repeating operations, we covered loops, and we actually generated random numbers in the loops as well. We covered while loop. And then we're actually done with the loops. You can play it at home. So sleep function is not implemented in JavaScript because when they created JavaScript, they actually kept in mind to execute the code as soon as possible, with the maximum speed. Okay, but with the time, it was a necessity to delay execution for a given amount of time, and this is done different ways. This is one of the way of doing it. No need to go deeper into the code and cover that, but just keep in mind that there is a possible to delay that. One of the situations when you need to delay execution is that when you run when you create your automated test script in JavaScript, and you like to introduce delay. For example, it goes very with maximum speed, but sometimes you like to put a delay so some controls will appear on the page. Okay, this may happen if you write JavaScript on which tool support JavaScript. So Selenium, right? You can write code in the Selenium. You can write in Test Complete and Mocha. Okay, Mocha is actually a very good testing tool for JavaScript. Okay. Anyway, there might be a situation when you need to introduce delay. Okay. So let's move forward. Alert box. This is a way to show the alert box, show message box in a browser, and this is not model box. So let's create this script, and then let's click on that button. They are created with the JavaScript. I mean, more advanced ones, and even sometimes they contain videos, hyperlinks, whatever. Okay, these are advanced ones. This is a very simple one. Okay. Now, so here what happens is that this is the existing code, and then you may also use the existing the code which we have previously, but this text field is supposed to accept credit card number. Okay, so you can take a code from slide 58. Remember when we're actually inserting age input, you can take that code if you don't like to mangle with this one, and then essentially you have to create a code which will validate the credit card number. So essentially it will check if the length of the credit card number entered is less than 16 or not equal to 16. In that case, it should show the alert box. Let's do that. Okay, so that will be very basic validation of the credit card. Let's do that together. So I'll go to the slide 50. Let's go 58. No, that was not it. This one, which is 51. Okay, this is code from 51. Okay, which has working code, so we don't need to do anything else. We get Notepad and paste here. Essentially, this is HTML code is there. This storage, I'm saying var cc equals for1 age input value. Okay, so you need to modify this JavaScript. You don't need this code anymore. So if in a case if the user entered less than 16 digits or not equal to 16 digits, alert box is shown. Okay, and this text field can accept 20 characters, by the way, because the size is set to 20 characters. Oh, actually, not size. This is a length of 20 characters, but you can also specify max size. Max size equals to 20. So in that case, well, let's save this guy. cc1 HTML. Okay. So here's the code which you should supposed to. You can use this code. You need to make modification to this function check eligibility. Actually, we can change the name too, but you can leave it as is. So alert box is shown. So let's do it together then, or you need to exit time, which is more preferable. Do it together. So essentially you need to put the logic here. Say if cc length not equals to 16, that's a condition, right? We say alert invalid card number. That's pretty much it. Okay. Also, I remove this guy. Okay. So let's try this. CC1. Okay. So this button will not work. Doesn't matter what you do. I disable it. Okay. So let's assume I enter something here, and then say tab. Invalid credit card number. Observe here the following. I don't click button to validate. I basically, because you may think that when I'm clicking on the button, I'm sending response to the server, okay, and server validates that. I specifically disable that to demo it. What happens is that I'm saying every time I move focus from the text field, validation will be hit. For example, in this case, I just keep adding number. As soon as I tab out, I'll get invalid credit card number, okay? So let's put valid one then. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, that should be 16. And then if I tab out, nothing happens. It means that the validation works. Make sense? Definitely, this is not a complete validation, but it demonstrated that we can validate the input straight on the user machine. We don't need to send response to the server to validate. But this is very basic validation. It does not validate that I didn't enter characters. For example, instead of 34, last 34, right? I can enter AB, and it still shows as a valid one, because I'm not checking the numbers, I'm checking the length, which is, strictly speaking, is not correct. Okay? It's not full validation. So this is the glitch. We are going to fix that. So you need to look at the code, or? Yeah. Yeah, okay. So this is the code. So observe here that I use on change. This is the event on change. It means that every time text is changed in the text field, this function will be called. Check eligibility. Okay, and I don't I remove on submit, and I remove the code from the push button. Okay, doesn't matter how many times you click on the push button, nothing happens. Doesn't matter how many times you click enter, nothing happens, unless you move focus from the text field, which it says on change here. This event is on change. Okay, I subscribe to this on change. We can also subscribe to the event right mouse click. In that case, this function will be called every time you right mouse click on it. Okay, you can do whatever you like.
So you remove the return check eligibility as well, the on submit one?
Yes, I removed check. Yeah, on submit, I removed that. I have only on change here. This one. Okay, so it means that every time the text in the text will change. That's how it is done in the real life. You have several text fields. You ask to provide first name, last name, credit card number, email address, whatever. Every time you provide a value in the text field, going to the next one, validation immediately fires. Okay. That's how it is done. You have validator linked to the given text field. Make sense? No? Doesn't make sense? Okay. What's wrong with this?